Okay, welcome. This is Andy Lee Graham, and I'm in San Pedro, Lake Atalan, Guatemala. San Pedro La Laguna, they call it. It's on the Lake Atalan in Lake Atalan, Guatemala. It's December, I don't know, something 2023. And I'm going to talk today about whether Henry David Thoreau is a wimp. Okay. It's kind of a funny subject because I watched a lot of videos. I have a collection, a playlist on my channel of Henry David Thoreau videos, and a lot of these people are always addressing whether or not why did he leave. He made this house where he lived on Walden Pond for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days, and then he had like this experiment. Then he just gave up on the experiment and did something else. And they always like to infer that he was not a consistent person, okay? So, wimp, was he a wimp? That's the question. Um, I'm going to be talking about strategies, and I've been realizing over and over, I do not expect people to understand travel strategies. It's only they listen and they hear, but I realize that it's very difficult for people to really grasp a lot of the travel strategies I have. Oh, I I need to grab my books. I wrote a book about how to meet strangers. But right now, if you don't realize it, there's been an attack on males and females, normal males and normal females on the planet, right? We are no longer considered capable of just being a normal heterosexual male or a regular female. I guess I don't know how to say that word but but they don't like us being liking to be male, right? They don't like us to even be white, right? And it's kind of humorous to me. But there's an attack on males and females, and this has a lot to do with being a wimp. Um, but what's happening right now is we don't have a right to think, even. They're trying to control what we think, and this is kind of sad. Okay. Um, I often tell people that I'm a recovering alcoholic and I've been sober for 37 years. And I like to say this because people then, they don't believe, they believe the minute that I say that I'm a recovering alcoholic, that somehow they are better than me. Okay. If I say that I'm living in a $10 room, they think that they're smart because they live in a $100 room. And all these things are fun because it's about being called a wimp. Okay. And I made a video the other day of 100 reasons why I consider a lot of people a wimp. And very few people are going to watch it because they're a wimp. Okay. And they don't really want to learn about me. They just want to be entertained. Okay. And this is a problem. Okay. I love to tell people I'm an alcoholic because it gets hate mail. And normally, a person that has an alcohol problem is offended that he or they want to elevate it. And this is part of Darwin, right? How do we prove that we are a better made or something like that? You push the competition down, and it don't work on me because I just am immune to this. But one thing I'll always be saying, and I'll keep saying this for until I die, is we are as sick as our secrets. The more secrets you have, I consider you mentally ill. Okay, so don't think that I'm considering you a well-rounded person if you have a bunch of secrets. The minute that I hear any kind of secret or something that you're keeping, I believe that it's a weakness and a kind of a wimp. Okay, but I'm going to go through this. But I'm also going to try to start doing some information on where I'm at too. But we have two groups of people in the world. We have the trolls that are never wrong. When they have an opinion, they're never wrong. They're always right. And then we have the people that are more open-minded, but they're always wrong. So they won't even be proud to be a white person. I'm always laughing because I think we should have white. If we're going to have black week, we should have white week. I mean, why not? White pride is okay. Black pride is okay too. I really like that Candace Owens. She should be running for president. This woman is a whiz on understanding all the different variances. And because she's a woman, she can also explain this without getting attacked. The man dealing with a lot of issues would get attacked. But we should always just be proud of who we are. But there's people that always are wrong and they lie, and both the always right and the always wrong lie. The goal here is to not be a wimp and lie, okay? Be proud of who you are, have an opinion. But a good person is going to say, I could be wrong, I could be wrong, right. I'm not always right, I'm not always wrong. I have a lot of people that demand that I agree that what their travel theories are is correct, and they get really angry because I don't want to listen to them. And I go, you're going to get real angry when I tell you that I don't agree. And I've learned to not really listen to travel stories. Lake Atilan, Guatemala news. Okay, I'm in Lake Atilan, one of the most beautiful lakes on the planet. But for sure, even more than that, it's one of the best climates I've ever experienced in 114 countries. Beautiful. The climate here is just like 72 degrees. I think it's 18 degrees in centigrade, but I'm not sure. But it's like just goes a little below 70 degrees, gets kind of cool at night, and it can sometimes get pretty hot during the day in the direct sunlight because we are in the tropics. But there's a lot of Christmas tourists coming here. It's about the 22nd or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's December 22nd, 2023. I probably should be correct, right? Okay, it's December 23rd, 2003. It's a Saturday. Okay, but I've been learning about travel a lot because one of the gentlemen that came here from the United States is asking questions that and when I answer it, I realize I have knowledge that I use that I don't really talk about. Okay, so it's been really good for me because I can bring up these subjects and some of the things that I've learned that I didn't even really think or know or because I've been telling him, I realize that is a theory and a principle that I use all the time and I don't really talk about it. It's what I am learning. It's fun stuff for me because travel is the game of life. What is travel? Travel is living inside your home country, whether it's United States, Europe, Japan, Guatemala, whatever. But travel is living that same life, applying all the same skills, but at high speed. Okay, because you have to really adapt. In the United States, you might have a little problem. You can have 2 or 3 days to think about it. Here in Guatemala, I have to solve the problem in the next 2 hours. So it's high speed strategizing, thinking, understanding, growing, and becoming a better person at a high speed. One of the things I have learned is people must really, the math skills have decreased, okay? And really it would be better if people always took out a piece of paper or took out a pen and used a calculator and calculate. They're not very good. They're losing probably 25 to 50% of their money because they don't actually know the math of what they're buying, okay? So you have to know what you're paying for, and this is going to cost you about 30% more than normal. The credit card has doubled the cost of travel because you don't have that immediacy of feeling that the money is going out of your pocket. It's nebulous, right? But you really want to do anything you need to do anymore. You need to do the pros and cons, and it's become a skill that a lot of the younger people don't have. They don't weigh things like the pros and cons. A mother and father that's got 5 kids, they have to weigh everything. My mother and father had 3 daughters and 2 sons, and they had to weigh. They worked in factories, and they had to sit there and make decisions on how they're going to use money. A lot of that has disappeared. We're in a time period where people are incredibly wealthy, okay? And even though Americans act like they're not wealthy, they're wealthy, okay? But one thing I've also always been, one of the things I constantly have been telling this one new traveler here, a friend of mine, is never trust any foreigner when he talks about travel because they hide all their mistakes. But last night it was kind of fun because he was there. The tuk-tuks. It was about 9 o'clock, and he was leaving the bar, and he said, "Should I pay 10 Q?" And I go, "Well, you know, 10Q according to 5Q. 5Q is the normal price, and 10Q's thing. And I said to him, I wrote back, you do understand that 10Q is only $1.28, okay? And because it's the loss in the really pain was extra 60 cents, right? So if the guy got you for an extra 60 cents, it's not a life threatening problem, right? It's not a financially kill you problem. But if he was doing the same thing in Europe, it would be $30 or $40, or in the United States or New York. And he keeps trying to say to me that he's going to go to Europe and these problems don't exist. No, they exist. And you get when you make a mistake in Europe, you lose $40 at a shot. So every mistake I make in Europe is 10 euros. Okay, it's very painful because each little pothole you step in, tourist problem in Europe is $10 to $50. Okay, and if you have to call a taxi in Europe, it's going to be $30 or $40, right? And so, best to always learn in a very easy country. Guatemala, Lake Atalan, is one of the easiest places to learn how to travel on the planet. And I've actually given one, two, three, four, five different live abroad tours where a person pays me $500 and I help them. I basically meet them every morning for breakfast, and we talk and I help them to find a room, and it actually doesn't cost them anything because I like right now this person is paying $200, and a lot of people that come down here would pay $50 a night. I said, what is $50 a night? That's $1,500 a month. And people go, I said, who wants to pay $1,500? When you get a $100 night room, you're paying $3,000 a month. And this math seems to evade people. But one of the biggest problems I keep trying to address with him is that the silly people hang out with the silly people. The people that don't really know what they're doing hang out with the people that don't know it. Or, I'll translate it, the idiots hang out with the idiots. And I said, hey, I don't want to discuss a lot of people that we commonly know together because one idiot hangs out with another idiot. And the minute that you hang out with an idiot, I take you out of my world because that means you're not good at making decisions. If you're hanging around with an idiot, I assume you're an idiot. I actually qualify you as an idiot because I can't separate you, right? You're basically known by the people you hang around with. But YouTube travel has killed it. YouTube is killing the travel industry because it's doubled the price. Every YouTuber gives this great world, and they don't really teach travel skills. They treat you how to be a good tourist and how to be silly. Airbnb has doubled the price of travel. But the skill we need for travel is prioritization and decision making. How to prioritize, how to make a decision, and that's one of the things. My sister's coming down in February with my nephew. Somebody was trying to get me to apologize for Hobo Traveler, and I'm not going to apologize for having a business for 23 years that we just closed down because it wasn't making money. We didn't go bankrupt. I was no longer going to pay to lose money for the next couple years, and so I shut it down. It supported me extremely well. I went to 114 countries, and I had a business for 23 years. So don't think that I'm going to sit around and apologize for hobotraveler.com. It was an extremely successful business, and you have to sometimes close businesses. Okay. Rich Hemp, I'm going to call him Hemp Rich. Richard Howe did a really good he sent me a very good video about the dark web, and it's in this link that I put in here. I'll put the link into the thing. It's really one of the best videos I've seen in a long time, and I really appreciate Richard for you sending it. Richard Howe. A lot of you would know him as he likes to talk about hemp. Okay, but it's a Jordan Peterson interviewing this guy, and I haven't seen the whole video, but it's a good enough video. You really should watch it. Okay. One of the signals of the situation here, we went to Hotel San Antonio, and a month ago there was like 2 rooms occupied. Right now it's 100% full. So it's really, Christmas has started. What's also interesting is a few of the Israelis are come back. About 200 Israeli young people left this lake to go fight in the war, and a few of them are coming back. It's kind of interesting. I think that's enough for today on that kind of stuff. I'm realizing that's taking a long time. I have a Patreon link in here, and anybody that's on the Patreon that's a regular person that's being supportive of me will be able to get on Zoom meetings with me. That's the benefit. Or the $25 one is you have the ability to call me once a month and talk for like 15 or 20 minutes. And that can be really valuable, especially if you're traveling. I got a link here on the crash of 2024. I'm predicting a complete economic crash in 2024. I got my 5 books, and I'm writing a book about Henry David Thoreau. That's why I'm going to be continually, once a week, having a video about Henry David Thoreau. Okay? And Henry David Thoreau is one of my heroes. Okay? And I have different heroes. Okay? Here's a couple books I wrote. I got a pocket guide, and I got a photo book. I've written 5 books. I'll be writing my 6th book about Henry David Thoreau. And it's not about him. It's really about my 25 years of travel being the same as his 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. He believed in only working 1 day a week. And I believe in working like 2 hours a day. So it's about the same, right? But a lot of name calling goes on about Henry David Thoreau, and we have a lot of name calling going on in the United States right now. It seems to be like the idea of being a lady or a gentleman no longer exists. There's a difference between me saying some people are idiots and then saying the name of a person and calling them an idiot. Okay, and I think we need to rise above that and not be calling specific people idiots. You can call a culture, you can call a race, you can call any group you want idiots. But when you start being very specific, that's really kind of cruel. Okay. Today there is an attack on men. There's an attack on females. Females are getting attacked. They're having to compete with men dressed up like women swimming, right? I don't know. If we can't say they're biologically different. Somehow, because they have the male package, you can somehow not be a girl. I don't understand it at all. And this is an attack on us because we're supposed to feel guilty if we don't like that. Okay, and I told my friend Doug, he was a gay man over at Penn. I said, he wanted to go to the bars with me. And I said, Doug, I go to the bars to meet girls. I'm not going to go with a gay guy. And he goes, why? Why? Because for one thing, you're not just a gay guy, you're an old gay guy. I said, meeting young women with an old, you ruined my style, right? You're dragging me down. And this is just honesty, right? And right now, people are getting in trouble for being honest, and nobody should ever be in trouble with the world for being honest. And I tell people, when you hate me, most of the trolls that I have are angry at me because I'm honest, and I don't like to talk to anonymous people on this go live thing. I feel like it's an insult. Why am I talking to a person that I'll never become a friend with? I don't know who they are. They're just basically somebody in the peanut gallery throwing things at me. But Henry David Thoreau is often called a wimp. In fact, this gentleman that is down here right now he said, if you do a search on Henry David Thoreau, half the people say he's a loser, and the other half say he's a good guy. And this is a problem because this person doesn't read books, right? If you don't read books, you have You're really not as intelligent as the people that read books. Leaders are readers. Leaders are readers, okay? And real leaders are writers. They write. They write to understand who they are. But we're in a challenge thing, and if we can come to grip with how to be honest, we can also come to grip with when we're being insulted. See, to call somebody a wimp is to put them on the defensive. Like, I have a lot of people say, Andy, you're an asshole. And I always say, please be more specific. Okay? Why? Because there's everybody is on some topics an asshole. There is no such thing as a perfect person. On the other side is when people want me to listen to them when they're really talking stupid, for me not to say that they're acting stupid, or they're basically, if I'm their friend, I'll say, hey, you really don't know what you're talking about. And when I'm obviously an expert at the subject, that I have people that come up to me and try to tell me how to travel. And I sit there and I go, can you say, Andy, what do you think of my idea? You started out like I'm supposed to agree with what you're saying. You don't say, Andy, this is what I do, and what do you think about it? No, they say, this is how you should do it. Okay, and I go, well, when I say this is the wrong way to do it, then they become my troll and they become my enemy. But when we travel and anything in life, we have to ask, what do we want to be? So Henry David Thoreau went to Walden Pond. He wrote a book called Walden, and he lived on this Walden Pond for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. And he worked 1 day a week. Okay, and that was the first chapter, economy. And I made a video about economy, I don't know, about a week ago, I think. But we don't need to tolerate wimps or idiots or anybody disagreeing with it. We don't have to tolerate it. On the other side, it's one of those things where we also need to tolerate it. Okay, we have no choice. There are people that are going to come into our world, especially as a traveler, and we can't isolate. Okay, but if we don't approve of them anymore, they will also call us a wimp. Okay, and when I block some troll on my website, they act like I don't have the right, and I go, what is wrong with you? I have the right to do absolutely anything. The prime directive of travel is to enjoy yourself, and the prime directive of life is to enjoy yourself. Now, there's certain when you go into a restaurant, you have to live within their rules. My mother would not allow me to have profanity. The minute I got around my mother, I stopped cussing. The minute I left her, I started cussing again. I don't know. I worked on some really aggressive construction crews and had a lot of really aggressive people. And sometimes the only thing they understood was profanity. But there's problems right now on the wimp thing. I'm going to define what a wimp is here shortly. But we're now trying to have people, they care about how many likes they get on a website. I had a guy said, Andy, you got this many likes. And I said, I don't care about the likes. We just put this on our website because it made a few people happy. And it felt like, to me, it was a positive feedback or negative feedback, right? And you have the right to do anything you want. But we also have the right to disagree with what you're doing. And this is what's disappearing now. And this is why I brought up the subject of wimp. Henry David Thoreau did exactly what he wanted to do. So, very hard to call him a wimp. What they're calling him a wimp for is they want him to make a decision to go live in this cabin and then do it for the rest of his life. Okay? As if you could never change. And even his mentor, one of his friends, Ralph Waldo Emerson, had a very good quote: a foolish consistency is a hobgoblin of little minds. If you watch my videos, you realize that I jump all over the place. I do not try to make everything happy. I don't put music in the background. I don't do pauses and cuts and edits to make you happy, because I want you to see who I am really, not who I would like you to think I am. I want you to like me for who I am, not for the agenda. I mean, when I see a travel video, it's flash. It's like a movie. It's they cut, 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 cut. They chop, 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 chop. They refuse to be an honest person. Any kind of editing on a travel video is very dangerous. Okay, because you're not getting reality. But we have a right to disagree. So if I say that a transgender guy with a pecker walks into a girl's restroom and I don't want it to happen, if it's my daughter was in there, it's not going to happen. Okay, it will not happen. Okay, laugh out loud. I'm trying to say, for the most part, we can circumvent all these problems, but sometimes you don't need to apologize. Apologizing is being a wimp. But my enemies don't like that I say my opinion honestly. There's people here that said, I had a girl that got really angry. She said, you complained about the missionaries, the tuk-tuks, and the dogs, and it causes businesses to lose money. And I said, so? And she goes, I said, I'm a journalist. That's what I do, is I tell the truth. She goes, but it costs people money. And I said, well, get rid of the tuk-tuks, the missionaries, and the dogs. Control these things. If you're a business owner, then don't try to make me responsible for your business. Take responsibility for your community. I'll never forget her. She's like, you're costing people money. I cost a lot of people money in Dominican Republic, because I would talk about the prostitution there and the crime and the killings. They killed like 60 expats in the city of Sosúa, Dominican Republic. I have a link showing all the pictures, and I did the research. 60 foreigners got killed in Sosúa, Dominican Republic. It's a very dangerous place. It's like Mexico. But in Mexico, the police just take them out in the woods, kill them, and put them in a hole, and you never know that they got killed. They're pretty smart. They're smarter there in Mexico. You cannot control free speech. And when they're starting to try to do this, right? Now, there's hate speech. There's actually one of the levels here on speech is when you assault somebody. Assault somebody is what the Palestine lovers are doing right now in the United States with the Israelis. They're threatening us from the ocean to the sea, or something like that. Basically, they want genocide, and they want it to happen. And the minute you go in, this can become assault. If I threaten to kill somebody, and there's like, I'm here and they're in Toledo, it's not really assault. It's not really possible. If I'm sitting right next to them and I threaten to kill them, that's assault, and that's a crime. Okay, they have to feel that it's really possible that they're going to do it. So, because a lot of people colloquially say things that they don't mean. I'm going to kill you. I'm watching this movie, TV shows, and they say some really, funny things on TV series that if you say them in public, you might lose your job. Jordan Peterson got in trouble because he wouldn't say the pronouns of all these different genders. And I was proud of him. He wasn't a wimp. He said, I have a right to think what I think. And we do. But why did Henry David Thoreau leave Walden Pond? He did an experiment to show that if we just live by necessities, our life is easier. So he says, simplify, simplify, simplify. And he proved it. Now, living alone in a cabin by yourself, that would be why I would call him a wimp. Okay, why would I call him a wimp? Anybody that lives in solitude and refuses to talk to people, I'm probably going to call a wimp. Why? The most difficult situation to deal with is not nature, it's not cars, it's not dogs, it's people. People cause the problems on the planet. So the art of life, the game of travel, is to learn how to deal with people. The travel's easy, okay? The money's easy, the management, everything. It's the people that are always the problem. So a really good billionaire or whatever is really good at a very good sociologist and psychologist and philosophy, psychology, and English and writing and articulating what you're doing is what it takes to be a billionaire. Okay, and if you want to be incredibly rich, you have to be able to deal with people. Now, self-reliance, what a lot of people don't think about, when you're a billionaire, you hire you hire like, I don't know, 10,000 workers, right? And what is it when you have 10,000? You have to be an expert at how to handle people. So did Henry David Thoreau, living on Windwatted Pond, he was could have been considered to be a very angry man. And I did a video about a month ago where I showed the first half of economy, how many times he insulted society. 58 times in just half the chapter. It's about the first chapter, economy, is just one big problem. What people do. He's always saying that you don't own the oxen owns you. I say this about houses. When you buy a house, a car, you don't own the house and the car. The house and the car owns you. When you have a job, the job owns you. Okay. Um, but one of his biggest things that he wrote was on the duty of civil disobedience. He really, Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King used passive resistance, and this is really for anybody that wants to understand how to protest. This is the chapter in the book Walden. Usually at the end they have the chapter, the final things on civil disobedience. But I think needing solitude is a person that isn't capable of understanding people. But he only lived there for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. He didn't live there his whole life. He was really in the family of Emerson, and he did these speeches and he did these talks and he was dealing with people. And I was really proud of him. He was on these all different in Harvard University, where he went to university. He did a lot of talks and different things. But the people that are calling him wimps and losers are the ones that don't give him the right to change. And that's a macho thing. When you don't give a right, it's like the husband talking to the wife and says, "You have to put my food on the table at 6 o'clock." Well, she's a free and sentient being. She doesn't have to obey him. But often by pure force, and macho people want people that they consider lesser than them. I mean, when you tell somebody what they have to do and you enforce it, that's pretty evil. And this is what right now the United Nations is trying to do with Israel, which is hilarious because I don't think you can control it. Nature is not more important than people. And that's where I would disagree completely with Henry David Thoreau. Although I do think to be in contact with nature on an intimate level will help you to understand the world. I think but you should always have people as a higher priority thing. Right now we have dogs and comfort animals that are more important than people. If I insult a dog, I'll get more hate mail than I would if I insulted a person. Okay. Some reason dogs are protected status. And if I wanted to, I don't have any problem with dogs. I like dogs. I don't like the owners of dogs. But sometimes I think a dog needs killed, okay? Because if you got 4 dogs barking and attacking people, some of them need erased. Okay. But right now we have a epidemic of passive aggressive people. They will not tell the truth. They believe the best way to maneuver any situation is to lie. They're not stand-up people. But Henry David Thoreau, if you really read his book, he's all about the truth, okay? But he also insults society. And it's kind of amazing that a lot of these college professors, they key in on the fact of nature, and they ignore the fact that he insults society on a never-ending basis. Okay, the passive-aggressive nature, a highly dysfunctional system, is growling. But what is a wimp? They get angry, then they don't explain. Not angry, then they explain. They raise their voice. Sneaky trolls, lies. Uh, we're sick as our secrets. Okay. Henry David Thoreau is my hero. Why is he my hero? Because he had a voice that was, when written down, he said things in such a simple way that the majority of people could understand. He didn't try to talk in a high, he went to Harvard and he could have talked in such a complicated way that nobody would understand it. And often people have a lot more respect for a person that's using all these complicated words as opposed to words. Like Einstein said that if you can't explain it to a third grader, you really don't understand it. Okay, and a lot of the college professors are talking, and then the people are not willing to say, I don't understand a word you say. And this is where the lies are coming in. We have people that are just losing everybody with vocabulary. Jordan Peterson does this sometimes, but because he's got he's a famous person, we can't say we don't understand him. But it's okay to say you don't understand Jordan Peterson. I truly do not care if you like me. I don't care if you're my best friend. I'm going to always tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. And this is where people they want me to listen to, and I say, I don't want to listen. And they want me to force me to listen. Understand, this is macho. When you want to force me to listen to you, and I don't want to listen to you, and I'm kind of trapped, you're kind of being a control freak, right? But only a wimp cares. And because why are they scared? They're scared. But a really scared person will separate from all the people, and they will not get involved. They kind of like go in and be with people for 10 minutes and then they leave. Okay, that's a scared person. But here's a really great quote, and I'm trying to collect a series of quotes that are the quotes that you can live by. You care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Lao Tzu. Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. If you care about what I think, I own you. If I care about you, you own me. If we are equal and you allow me to have an opinion, and I have a opinion, we were having what was considered a discussion the other day, and the person says, "Well, this and this," and I said, "We're not having a discussion. A discussion is when somebody can change their mind. You're telling me how it is, okay?" And I sometimes on travel, I will say, "This is how it is," and I'm not going to go any further because you're insulting my expertise. Okay, but if you care about what other people think, and you will not be their prisoner. But as experts, when anybody's an expert, whether they're a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, they cannot say things in a debatable way. Okay, for them to debate all the time really just means that they don't really know what they're talking about. On the other side is you have a lot of experts that don't know, that pretend to be experts, and this is what travel videos are. They're people that are not experts making videos, but they sound like a teacher, like they really know what they're talking about. It takes a lot of experience to really say you know what you're talking about in travel. Okay, really takes a lot of experience. But what is a wimp? It's a weakness. It's timidity, lack of courage, easily intimidated, feebleness, indecisiveness. Indecisive is considered okay right now, as I can sit there and, well, I don't really know what to do. And I say, grow up, make a decision, live with it. I mean, we're only in a, Lake Atalan, who gives a crap? Just a day, right? Lack of assertiveness. I get in trouble for being assertive about the dog situation. It's kind of humorous to me because I go, hey, I'm going to protect myself against dogs. I don't care what you say. Lack of strength, lack of resilience, lack of toughness, inability to face challenges confidently. How many of you are willing to get on a plane and go to Africa? How many of you are willing to go to Iraq? I went to Iraq for 30 days. How many of you are willing to go to Thailand? How many are you willing to be on a 30-hour plane trip, right? How many of you are doing it? It takes fortitude and mental strength to do these kind of things. And this is what travel teaches you how to is the game of life is at high speed, and you learn because you suffer for the consequences of your bad decision, and you can't blame anybody for it. Okay, you made all the decisions. I mean, the husband and wife team, they can do it. But if, I'm going to say it again, if you care about what other people think, you cannot be a consultant. Okay, a consultant is paid to tell you the truth that you don't really want to hear. But if you care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Lao Tzu, TZU. If you hear a person lie, a white lie, any kind of lie, don't ever trust them again. You got to always go, they are willing to lie, therefore I cannot trust their opinion. I have a lot of people that want me to be nice about my comments. And I said, but I'm trying to be an expert, and I am an expert in real estate, internet, computers, coding, travel, and you want me to be nice. I said, the truth is just a fact, okay? It's negotiable, yes, but you're not going to get me to, I'm confident in my opinions, okay? And they want me to not be confident in my opinion. I said, what do you want me to do? Be a wimp? I said, but they're a wimp, therefore they want me to be a wimp, okay? But again, the biggest decision you can make when you're traveling is to who you're going to travel with and who you trust. If the person that you're traveling with has pride in lying and maneuvering people by lying, be careful. You can't trust them. They don't have your back. You only can trust them, say 70%. What you want to do is the guy says, you go do this, I leave you alone. I'm not going to go with you and be stupid. Fun topic. It's a very fun topic. But right now we have an attack on males and females, and that should not exist. 95% of the world is just a normal, you know, husband and wife, man and woman. We are not the minority, okay? We don't have to listen to all these minorities try to wag the dog. The tail is wagging the dog. But Henry David Thoreau was a man that did what he wanted to do, and he wrote about it. And the fault here, when somebody calls him a loser, what they're saying is he didn't do what they did, okay? And if you read his chapter, he believes that all of society is doing the wrong thing. It's really interesting because he lives exactly by his word. In the civil disobedience, which is really impactful, he says that if you morally are against something, you have to stand up and disagree with it and not be complicit. Okay, complicity is when you just agree. Like if somebody starts saying something racist about Israelis, I will say this is unacceptable. And they're doing it right now. If somebody says something racist about blacks, whites, pinks, I don't care what color you are, or they're talking about gay people or lesbians or whatever, as if this person doesn't have a right to live their life the way they want to. I can say that I think it's stupid, but to try to purposely cause that person to have problems, that's passing judgment. I don't pass judgment by enforcing it. I will make a decision and say that I disagree with this, but I'm not going to do it unless they're doing things that would damage my family, my friends, or whatever. I'm not going to allow a man with a penis to enter a young girl's bathroom. It's not going to happen in my world, okay? I'm not, it's just not the right thing to do because I'll say the joke that I always say. You put any 2, 3 people in a room for months on end and they'll screw each other. It doesn't matter what they are, okay? Because that's just normal. I'm always wondering about these buccaneers and pirates and whatever. That Black Sails television show really upset me because they took the hero of the show and he had gay sex at the end. And I go, you took my hero and you made him into something I didn't want, right? But some reason that is supposed to be acceptable. And so if I say that, then of course they're going to say you're homophobic or something like that, right? Or if I flirt with a 25-year-old girl, I'm a bad person. It's insane. She's legally of age. You're saying that she is not capable. She's mentally deficient. A 25-year-old girl has a right to make her own decisions. If you're trying to say that I can do anything to her flirtatious, see, this is where Henry David Thoreau sliced and diced it, okay? And he constantly tries to say the less work you do for society, the better for society. The less you try to help society to do all their little games, the better it is. And that's where separating your life and being self-reliant and staying away from it is a man, okay? Henry David Thoreau said what he said, and he let your yeses be yeses and your noes be no. In the Bible, they say, when you say something, let your yeses be yes and your noes be no. You don't sit around and try to explain everything. We're not required to explain. On the other side is not explaining is sometimes if you have a good friend and you won't tell your best of friends, somebody you talk to every day, the honest truth, you got some problems, okay? That's what friends you talk to every day are for, is to talk about the difficult stuff. It's not to talk in a men's group. It's not to talk in a group, whatever. But to agree with people when you don't agree is a lie, and that is a wimp. Any person that lies to me is a wimp, and I don't think you'll ever find that Henry David Thoreau lied. He didn't. Yes, he was obviously working through confusion. And that's why you write a book, is to take something that isn't clear and make it clear. Okay. Don't live another person's life. There's many ways to not be a wimp. You don't run. You live your life, not my life. You don't have a hero and then always be looking for them for approval. Then you're a prisoner of them. But anytime you're angry, that is normally fear. The best way to not prove yourself a wimp is to keep your mouth closed and listen. When people open their mouth and they don't really know what they're talking about, they're playing their cards. Okay. A macho person forces a person to listen. A lot of people think that I'm forcing you to watch this video. It's insane, okay? You guys can click away. I often see people say, I don't really like your videos on that. I said, did I ever in my life say that you should watch my videos? The gentleman that's here today said, Andy, I don't watch all your videos. And I go, have I ever told you to watch my videos? I actually prefer that people not watch my videos, that especially the ones that are close to me, because they probably find out that I say some things that probably insult them, okay? But when a husband demands a wife to do something, that's macho. Macho says, you have to do it my way. That's not the right way to do it. But anger is the way they control it. They raise their voice, their tone of voice, and that's anger. And if you really read Henry David Thoreau, he was a very calm, passive person. I don't think he had to ever really enter into a situation where the only way I would ever call him a wimp is that I'm not sure he really ever became charismatic and had the personality to bring together a group of people. But he did do a lot of talks, and they had this thing called a lyceum or something where they would stand up and talk and give speeches. I think it was the type of entertainment you did in 1845, okay? You didn't have television, you didn't have internet. His last quote, and the one that tells you the separation between other people, is, why should we be in such desperate haste to succeed in such desperate enterprises? If a man does not keep pace with his companion, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music he hears, however measured and far away. If a person hears different music, let them listen to the music and let them step to it and dance to it. We all have a right to live our life the way we want to. Okay, I'm trying to always lead you down the path of studying, okay, and allowing. I want you to disagree with me. But if you disagree with me, you have to do it in a respectful way. And a lot of in the society we live in right now, Henry David Thoreau wrote a, he wrote about civil disobedience to try to show how to disagree in a gentlemanlike way. And Martin Luther King and was all about passive resistance. Okay. What we have right now is people trying to hurt other people. Okay. And that is sad. And I'm really worried about the future of the world, because we didn't have, before we had the internet, you couldn't try to destroy somebody from remote, right? This is remote anger, trying to hurt somebody in a remote way. And if you believe that you could be canceled or somebody doesn't like what you're doing, erase them from your life. The internet is not real people, okay? I am not in your head. I'm not in your world. I don't know you. You can shut my world, shut the door on me. It's what you should do if you don't feel that I'm being helpful to you, okay? But did I hurt anybody? No, I just gave you my opinions, okay? And this is where, when we don't have a right to have an opinion, it's almost like mind control, right? Okay, Henry David Thoreau was not a wimp. He was a person that said what he wanted to do, and he did it. He said what he was going to do and did it. And what people are failing to understand is nobody should be held to, if they decide on 2 years ago on how to do something, and they figure out a better way to do it, they should change. Only a crazy person would live, if he decided to leave Walden Pond after 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. Kind of obviously he controlled this, right? He went there on the 4th of July as a declaration. He was just proving a point that you could work 1 day a week, only having the necessities of life, and you could live a great life. And I've been doing this for 25 years. I work about 2 hours a day, and I travel the whole world, and so could you. But you have to separate what the wants are from the needs. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not? Because I live by only the requirements of the necessities. I don't try to get all the luxuries of life. I am, since we closed our business down, I'm needing to come up with a way to earn about $600 more a month. And I thank people that have put in on Patreon. It's growing. I'm only, I think it's pretty much a sure thing that I'll be able to have enough money to live very comfortably until the day I die because of support like you. And I appreciate it. On the other side, that doesn't give you the right to force me to listen to your opinions, okay? I can always walk away as you have the right to walk away from me. Andy Lee Graham. I'm supposed to tell you to hit that subscribe button.